Tropical storm Cristobal has made landfall as a tropical storm with 50 miles per hour winds. It's now moving north at 7 miles per hour with a minimum central pressure of 993 millibars. National Hurricane Center decided to ignore what recon has found, the eye everything, because everybody thinks it's a hurricane except them apparently. But oh well. So this is what we do have going on. We have that also that little tropical system that could form 20% chance could become Dolly. We have a couple tropical wave. We do have a tropical wave that came off the coast of Africa, but that won't become anything. And then we'll have some kind of cold front that's going to be coming into that area of potential development. All right. So this is the area where we have those tropical storm force winds at the moment. It has made landfall exactly here with its eye or open, center of circulation. Has made landfall exactly here, a little bit further east than originally expected because it actually was going straight north and actually decided to turn like this for some reason. So it actually did a little bit turn east, but it was expected to make landfall around like here and actually made landfall down there. But then it's going to make a second landfall in Mississippi, potentially, before moving back east into Louisiana. Looking at the current track, not much changes there either. Again, the center is a little bit more to the east than that. It's like right here, so it's going to take that, turn into the Great Lakes and that lake up in Canada over there. Wait a minute, guys. It's going to become a tropical storm again, apparently, after moving through the Great Lakes. That's pretty interesting. But wait, what, guys? It's literally going to become a tropical storm again. That's really interesting. Okay, well, it's going to become a tropical storm again. Probably post-tropical by then, but still tropical storm force winds. So Canada, watch out for that tropical storm. It's going to be a pretty big rainmaker as it is going to be a depression throughout all the way to the Great Lakes before becoming a tropical storm again. Which, okay, we're not going to talk about that because that's kind of interesting. In terms of flash flooding potential, we do have still that 50% high potential with flash flooding really crossing throughout, even in some parts of northern Florida. But according, pretty much, this is the track, so it's going to be following that track pretty closely before becoming a tropical storm again up in those Great Lakes. Probably more like post-tropical, but oh well. So that's pretty much what we've got going on, a little bit of a weaker storm than expected at landfall, but still, rather less the same kind of situation. But it's going to be starting to weaken gradually in this next couple of days or a couple of hours before again becoming a tropical depression once more. So that's what we've got going on with Cristobal. This is probably going to be the last update on him, maybe. So it's pretty interesting to see what did happen with the system, etc. But, it did speak at 60 miles per hour right before making that landfall in Mexico. But this is pretty much what the system has done since it has formed. We're going to take back a little memory lane. Formed as Amanda, crossed here, made a second landfall, and here it is now. So that's pretty much what this system has done throughout its life. It actually made it speak at 60 miles per hour right before making landfall in Mexico, that first landfall. But yeah, so this is pretty much what this system has done. And then this is what it will do. Yay, there you go, memory lane. History of Cristobal. So very nice stuff, very interesting to say the least. Nothing in the Eastern Pacific, nothing really going on there. So now we're going to look at the loop of that system. So again, it's not looking too bad. We actually have an eye, believe it or not. But yeah, there we go. You can see that eye. National Hurricane Center doesn't think it's an eye, but, well, it seems not taken into consideration. But here's that eye or that exposed center of circulation. It's really more of like an exposed center of circulation, but we do have that kind of eye, and this is where it made landfall right here, and it's expected to make a second landfall in Mississippi up there. before moving back into Louisiana when it starts moving west again. But this is where we have a eye. You can see those little swirls in there, and with those clouds extending, the tropical storm force extending around 250 miles of that center of circulations. In terms of convection, it has slowed down. Most of the convection, no, more like kind of like north of that system up there, where they're getting the higher winds with the. You can see that eye right on top of this peninsula right here. Not too sure what the name of that is, but it is right on top of there. Now, we want to look while we're at some potential Dolly and even Edward formation with the GFS, because we have some pretty interesting stuff. Um, First of all, we do have the potential of seeing Dolly with that spin up in the next 54 hours right here. This is the area where we have a 20% chance of formation for the system. Also, this is, see, as you can see, Cristobal becoming a tropical storm again, right over the Great Lakes before moving into Canada. So, again, pretty interesting stuff there. Um, yeah, you do see that system becoming tropical storm again, apparently. But yeah, this is potential Dolly right here. We don't have too much info on that. It could potentially be some kind of subtropical system if it is able to get its act together, really. But the GFS is showing a more concerning system because this one isn't really expected to do anything. But the GFS is showing a much more concerning system with this moisture really in the southern Caribbean becoming a storm. So GFS was, it predicted lots of storm, predicted Arthur. It kind of predicted Cristobal, but they actually predicted it moving here and then moving north. But they still kind of predicted it. But Europeans also pretty good at this. They predicted Bertha, and they predicted Cristobal crossing over in the Gulf of Mexico. So we're really gonna have to look at GFS and the European model. But the GFS shows another system spinning up in the Caribbean and moving into the Gulf. And it actually shows it again, really skimming that Florida and the West Coast, with potential tropical storm force winds extending out pretty far out on the other side. Potentially again, if this is 200 miles, that's how far tropical storm force winds do extend. But we do see a 989 system making landfall in the Florida Panhandle. Really, this what it would form around here. Really track north and skim the Florida coast before making that 989 landfall, as you can see right here. Really following pretty closely the track I just drew there. So that's pretty interesting to see. We're just gonna have to see at this point if that does end up happening or not, because it's the only model that does go that far out. CMC doesn't show anything quite yet, because it's the only model that does go that far out. But we're just gonna have to see if that does actually develop or not. It's still like 2 weeks out, so could it develop? Could it not? We do have also another system forming down there, according to the National Hurricane Center, or my bad, tropical tidbits, and another potential tropical depression or something. So it's too far to know yet, around 2 weeks. But I just wanted to show that, in terms of a closer system, that subtropical system, European model does show that subtropical system somewhat formed. Um, with this. Here's Cristobal, but it does show kind of that subtropical system, maybe getting its act together with this potentially right around here. But we're just gonna have to see again, will that develop or not. But tropical storm Cristobal has made landfall. I'm gonna get some footage of that really quick. So it's very interesting, to say the least. A tropical storm Cristobal in we'll just put that. We'll see what actually pops up. But it's pretty crazy, and we'll just put Louisiana. All right, there we go. So it's pretty crazy to see what we've got going on with this system. I don't think I'm going to be finding really any footage of this, but it's pretty crazy, guys, what we've got going on. But anyways, that's your tropical, weather update. I guess you can say. Tropical storm Cristobal did make its landfall.